slabs trap the heat. Boots crunch on broken glass bits. Keep the mind sharp, cold blade style. Scavengers hunt where the metal pipes rouse. Industry vultures circling the block. Our main tree vultures circling the block.
We started our stream, and I hope you're doing well. What we are going to work on today, we are going to work on a web app.
Hold the vision tight. Don't let it slip. Timberland prints in the slushy suit. Mental fortress.
So we hope you're doing fine. We are working rather on a mobile app, and I've set up the elements that you're going to start with. Our mobile app that we are going to work on today, it's called Kept. So it allows people to save various items effectively well. So I've already set up the document that is going to allow us outline each and every functionality that we are going to run for our app. It's already set up. So what we are going to do, so let's open a new terminal. And let's run our app. So as it's running, let's connect our phone. We're going to use this software to connect the phone effectively well. So this is an effective tool that lets you connect your phone very well. So let's connect it.
Just me in the 64 leaning left, swerving around the potholes on Atlantic Avenue. Sun hitting the paint, keeping my cool. I remember when the tank was on empty. Now the hydraulics do the talking for me. Used to run when the sirens got loud. Now I just took and keep driving. My mama told me patience is a weapon, so I sharpened the blade and waited. Seen them fold under the pressure of the block. I just fixed the chrome and stayed on track. Red rags and blue flags in the hate they spew.
So we're going to use Expo to ensure that each and every element is set up very well. For the people who have just come on, I'm going to call you upon. I'm going to call upon each and everyone who has just come on to subscribe to the stream. So it's running. So the initial code that we have here, it's our boilerplate that we've set up initially to allow us be able to start up with most of the different kinds of tools that we want. And our boilerplate includes different kinds of themes, and with themes we've set up colors that we can be able to use. We've also set up fonts, font sizes, and images. We've also set up different kinds of skills, and these skills are going to allow us have a perfect way we can be able to design whatever we want in terms of getting reference to a theme factory and front-end design that we would love to have. We've also set up translations. So with this, you can be able to translate this app to 7 languages, which is quite good and amazing. So let's run the app and see if it's well. Metro is still loading, so I think the app is not going to load. We are going to wait for Metro to load. Hello? So we are loading our app here. So this is our boilerplate. We set the boilerplate before because it was very essential for us to be able to view this. So our boilerplate is set up very well, given that you can be able to sign up and or sign in and be able to use it effectively well. So we've already set that up. So what we are going to do, we are going to start off with the onboarding process. Before we set any other screen, we are just going to start with rather look at our kept script. Let's go look at this. So we have a layout of most of these screens that we've already set up. So what you are going to do initially, I want us to set up the initial layout of all the screens, and then from there we shall be refining from screen to screen and making modifications as per each screen. So let's create a prompt. So let's continue with this app that we are setting up. So now we are going to start off with the setup of our app, and what we have currently is our boilerplate. So this boilerplate includes various functionalities that we've already set up. That means it's going to be the starter for our app. And when it comes to the setup of our app, I'm going to share a document. So let's refresh that document. So we are also going to look for another document that we have here, which is the kept flow. So the kept flow also is good. So let's keep that document. We are also going to share another document, which is a kept flow, screen flow. So these documents that I've shared, the first document, the kept app, has a layout of various screens that we have in our app. And but when it comes to the screen, the document that is below, it has the screen flow for the onboarding. And given that we are going to start to work on this app, we are first going to start with the onboarding. Now this is how the onboarding is going to flow. We are going to create all those screens. We already have our sign-in screen, so that means with the onboarding we are going to have the welcome screen, and after the welcome screen, then we are going to either be looking at the sign up screen or the sign in screen, and after that screen, that is when we are going to have the rest of the screen. So let's refresh this. So I think it's not being refreshed. So what we are going to do, we are going to push this in, because I tried to refresh it from outside and we could not. So let me give the instruction. So for the reference, I want you to look at the folder that we have in our app, which has the name. So let's reference it by name, because we could not reference it here. And then we try out that. The other option that you can use, it is the use of the MCP. The reason as why I'm not using the MCP is because sometimes the MCP does not really fetch all the screens the way you want it. This folder has the screens, all the screens that we are, all the screenshots for our onboarding process, but also it includes other screens. But particularly for this request, you are going to look at the onboarding screens, which are already organized in separate folders in this very folder. So I want you to, as a senior engineer, to look at each and every screen, and after you're going to ensure that we look at those screenshots that are there. It also has a HTML code for this sample screen. So with the screenshots and HTML code, it's going to be very easy for you to ensure that you work on each and every screen that we have in our app. Full stop. So that means that you're going to create an implementation plan that details and lists all our screens that we have. Remember, I told you we are going to create all the screens that we have in our app, but the onboarding flow is going to be, we are going to start with the welcome screen, and after the welcome screen, that's when we are either showing the sign up screen or the sign in screen, based on where the user might be in their authentication. So after that, then they can be able to view other screens, and I want you to include each and every screen that is in the folder that I've planned. So when it comes to the layout of the implementation plan, I want you to follow the structure, the prompt structure that is in the master plan as you are laying it out very well. So let's reference these documents, because all these documents that I'm referencing, they're mostly to ensure that we do not distort elements that we've already set up in our app. So when it comes to the standards or the constant elements that we should follow when we are building out our screens, I want you to look at the documents that I've further reshared, which is the skills document with the front end skills and the themes document, and ensure that the implementation plan is comprehensive, but it includes and adheres to the instructions that have been set up in these documents when making an execution of the above task of creating all our onboarding screens. You're going to provide me with the implementation plan, and I'll look at it and review it and approve, and then you continue to build these screens. So let's look at that. So let's use a cloud and we
check the ledger.
click on review. We can review the process. It's quite comprehensive, but I believe all those documents are very necessary for us to build out something well. You know, when you're working with these agents and you've not set out instructions, candid and well detailed instructions, it becomes very hard for you to execute whatever you're working on. So I normally want to always give out detailed instructions so that I can be able to get responses that are quite good. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe as we continue with working on this app. So currently you can be able to, as it's working, let me show you here. You can be able to
to the ghosts in the cellar every night, man. Bought a new acre of land, iron in the blood, but platinum on the neck. Heavyweight. A general of a ghost battalion in suits. The interior is red like the battlefield. 12-cylinder engine screaming louder than the voices. I trade my peace for a higher profit margin. Heavy head resting on a silk pillowcase. War scars looking like expensive designer.
So it's making the analysis. So let's wait for it to complete that, and then you can see the screens, and now it's going to set them out.
The war never ends, it just gets more expensive.
Yeah, keep that energy right there. Just you in the sky.
So for the people who have not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe. So we've logged in. So currently we've already created our boilerplate, which has both the light mode and the dark mode. The reasons why we created this boilerplate, we wanted something that we can start with, initially, which is quite good, because remember in the first app that we worked on, the one that we are about to launch to the store, we had the app which really made us delay in our process, because we wanted to build it with a certain time frame, and we are not able to beat out that time frame because there are so many things that we had to do. Now for this boilerplate, we've refined that. What we've done is that we've included the functionalities mostly for file-based routing. So our structure, given that we are using Expo, we can be able to build out and support Android and iOS. We've also set out elements for how images can be laid out, the light and dark mode. We've also made refinements mostly when it comes to languages, so you can be able to switch to other languages, which is a very good practice. So we wanted to have initially this, and I believe that it is important to fix this and ensure that we've standardized each and everything. So it's creating the implementation plan. We shall also look at it. And we shall review it effectively well. So let's wait for it to build out, and then we are going to review that. So this is our initial boilerplate where we've used this animation for the buttons, for the tabs. Which is quite good. But I think the implementation plan is quite solid, so we can change this to light mode. So you can be able to view this information in Spanish, but at the same time you can change it to English, which is quite amazing. So we already have the implementation plan, which is great. So let's add something to the implementation plan. So before you set out the implementation plan, I identified something. When it came to the settings, and mostly for the languages, I can only switch from English to Spanish. Remember, we've already set out logic for other languages that we have in our translations folder. We need to ensure that those languages are included on the language tab. Mostly you're going to include them in the drop down so that we can be able to choose other languages as they are listed in the translations folder. And as you are creating the screens, you need to ensure that all these screens, the texts on these screens are translated effectively in these languages. So add that to ensure that on the settings screens we have that logic, but also to ensure that in all the onboarding screens that you're going to set up, all these languages are translated, all these screens are translated very well, so that when I switch to another language, I can be able to view these screens in that particular language. This is standard practice because we want to ensure that each and every functionality is built out without leaving out any element. So add that to the implementation plan, and after I review what you've added, then I will approve and we proceed to build whatever you've set up in our implementation plan. So you are keeping what is already in the implementation plan, you are just adding what I've recommended. So let's add that. For the people who have not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe, and as we get to view what you're building out. So let's continue with refining this implementation plan. So our onboarding plan is quite complex. It takes up 24 screens. So if it's taking up 24 screens, that means it's quite long. The reason why we set out these onboarding screens to be many, to have a lengthy plan, because we want to prepare the user for the app that they are going to use. Remember, our app is just going to help users to keep items in safe locations that they can remember. You can understand the frustration when you are looking for something that you've kept and you're not able to remember where you kept it exactly, which is quite frustrating. So we are solving that problem, and we are building out an app that is going to enable people get to remember each and every item that they store, as long as they have recorded that in the app, and they can be able to keep up with all the records of various things that they have prepared. And also it's going to be used for purposes of people who store inventory and certain items, so that they can be able to keep track of various things that they store in different kinds of files or different kinds of stores, and be able to retrieve that whenever they please to do that, which is quite great. So that is what we're doing. We had earlier created an implementation plan, but now we are reviewing that implementation plan to add logic to ensure that all these screens are set out very well. The translations for these screens need to be there. Remember, when it comes to our app, we are setting it out so that users can be able to use it in Spanish, in French, in German, in Portuguese, languages that are widely used. So if we set our app in these languages, then people who use these languages can be able to use this app. Remember that there are certain people who don't who really have needs for certain products, but they cannot effectively speak English. So it becomes very important for them if they get access to an app that is functional, but at the same time it's laid out in their language of preference. where they can understand it very well and be able to use it. So that is the reason as why we've included that to widen on our clientele. So the people who have not subscribed yet, I'm going to call upon you, please subscribe and follow our journey. As you follow our journey, I believe you're also going to learn how we go about our process. You're going to effectively learn, because for each and every product that we are building, we are showcasing the process. We are showcasing the process, which is quite great. So if you want to follow along, that would be a very good thing for you to follow up and get to know or get acquainted with what we do and how we do it. So let's wait for that implementation plan. It's taking some time, but I understand that the implementation plan is quite complex. It's quite complex because we are setting up a plan to build 24 screens, which is quite a lot, but I believe it is good to have standards for building these kinds of screens, because when you look at what we have, we already have references for each and every screen, which is quite great. So I think we now have the implementation plan laid out very well. The implementation plan has been laid out very well. When you look at the texts that are supposed to be here, it is quite complex. The reason why I used Cloud for this implementation plan, Opus, Cloud Opus is very good. When it looks at the complexity of whatever functionalities that you've given, then it lays out details of each and everything that you want when it comes to the implementation plan. But sometimes when you're using tools like Gemini, the implementation plans are going to be quite short, but you see it is quite something complex. So when you look at what you're building, it is laying out each and everything that is supposed to be on the screens, the texts, the references that the agent is supposed to look at. Each and everything is laid out in detail, which is a very good way of approaching such a complex task. So that is the reason as why you should acquaint yourself with these different kinds of tools, because when you look at Gemini 3.6, it's very good for the UI if you're looking at the UI, but if you're looking at the logic of executing something that is quite complex, then what you're going to look at, it is mostly the use of cloud models that are good, but most importantly the latest one, which is 4.6 Cloud Opus. It is quite amazing. So let's implement this, and then we can be able to review this process and how it's going to turn out.
Dueños del triunfo, dueños del empeño. Se ve tan claro bajo el cielo azul. Todo es victoria, con fuerza Aarón atrás. Sigue subiendo, no mires jamás. Mi fe es roca, mi aliento es victoria. Dando el máximo, entrando en la historia.
So it's a React Native app, and we are using the 54 Expo SDK, and I think it's quite great. But what we wanted to first of all lay out a boilerplate that could allow us to execute most of the elements. And for this boilerplate, we build it from scratch using still this IDE, which is Google Anti-Gravity, but we wanted various elements that we could have, and then from this it becomes very easy. The reason that's why I built this boilerplate is because what I want for even the future apps that we are going to build, we don't have to start everything from the scratch. If we have laid out some of the basic elements like translations and persistences in terms of the colors that you are going to use, the different kinds of elements like fonts and everything. So if we have these laid out, it becomes quite easy to start out each and every new project when you're starting out instead of starting from scratch. I've also integrated signing up and signing in with emails to the boilerplate already, but the other thing that I'm also going to include, I'm going to further keep on improving that boilerplate as we are also separately building this project, so that for the coming projects it becomes quite easy. So it becomes an easy process that you can be able to attempt, because at least you have a layout of what you want, but also you have instructions. I've also created a master prompt. We've used this layout of a master prompt in our previous projects for the mobile app and also for the web apps that we built earlier. So we've used it, which is quite well laid out in terms of the systematic way of what it is supposed to produce. I've also added other documents using the approach, the skills approach that we have in Cloud Code. Even when you are not using Cloud Code, you can be able to get some of the skills that are in Cloud Code and be able to integrate them into your app. And that is what we've done. We've refined the front end skills Cloud Code, and we've integrated that in our app. We've also integrated the one for the theme factory, and effectively we are using another skill, that is the themes skills, that details each and everything from the colors, from the fonts, font sizes, and the images, and how they are supposed to be laid out in our app. The essence of this, it is to allow us have an easy way of building out whatever we want, because if you don't really lay it out from the first time, then that means you're going to keep on refining, and it's going to take you a lot of time. Let's say when you're working on an app where there are certain other functionalities that are quite many, like making translations. So if you don't lay it out from the first time, that means you're going to go back, and for each screen you're going to be giving more information on how you can make those refinements, which makes it quite frustrating to me. So in that way, we've laid this out to enable us have a proper way of attempting each and everything. So for the people who have not already joined our growing community, I'm going to call upon you to join the community by subscribing and like this very video. If there are people who you believe can benefit from this process, the way we are attempting this and the way we are teaching it, it is a process that is quite easy. We don't want to complicate this stuff. We want to use the simple approach that we use of how we give the instructions, so that you can understand that when I'm working with maybe Google Anti-Gravity, I can be able to give out these instructions simply the way you understand it, because it comes from the context. Every product built out by any person, it's going to come from the context of how this person understands what they are working with and what exactly they want in terms of the functionalities. So if you really understand that, and then you put it in documents. That's why I told you I have prior documents that I've already set out that are helping with the prompts and what you should do, the things that you're supposed to refine, the things that you're not supposed to refine when you're building out the app, which makes it quite an easy approach for me to go with that. So that is what I have already laid out, and it becomes easy when you are in the process. But I believe one of the easiest frameworks that you can use, it is React Native. I'm using React Native. With React Native, it's very easy because I don't have to build both Android and iOS apps. I can just use React Native and I can be able to launch the app both on the Android and Apple Store, which becomes quite easy in the process. So I know there are other languages that are really used by other developers, which is quite good and they are quite great, but I prefer React Native because even when it comes to the modifications of different kinds of things and adding mostly dependencies that are going to allow me to get access to various functionalities, it becomes easy. Mostly when I'm working with dependencies that are maintained by the people who created them, it becomes quite easy. And it's React Native is one of the languages that has a wide community that uses it, which is an easy process that you can really work with. And I just love it as an option, given that I can be able to build out something and then be able to launch it on both apps. It makes my life quite easy. So that is the reason why I've chosen it. But as we go on, we are going to look at mostly what we are going to create with this particular app. For the people who have just joined, I'm going to call upon you to please support us, support the stream by subscribing and following up, and so that we ensure that each and everything is laid out very well. So the implementation of the screens, it's quite lengthy. We are implementing up to 24 screens in the onboarding. It is quite lengthy. So I'm going to wait to ensure that each and everything is implemented very well, and then I can be able to review what is working or maybe what is not working as far as what we desire, and then we can review that and make modifications.
Black ink bleeding on the page tonight. Black ink bleeding on the page tonight. No soft edges, only jagged lines. Building a temple in the ruins of time. They sell out for $1 and a name. I remain solid, immune to the game. Crushing the weak flows with a heavy palm. Eye of the storm, I remain calm. Esoteric grit on the city's face. Look, ancestors grit, watching through the grind. Watch. Ancestors watching through grind. I manifest the truth one bar at a time. Dismantle the lies with a surgical strike. This is the life that the warriors like. Warriors. Stay focused. Yeah. Maintain the science.
So it's taking out some time to implement these build outs. So as it's working on that, we can look at the screenshots of the elements that you're working on. Let's go here. Let's go here and so we created the screenshots that we first created before we when we get the idea, we map it out mostly using the assistance of Microsoft Copilot, because it's very good with understanding functionalities and creating product road documents. So after the creation of so these are product road documents, then we come to Stitch, where we create our screenshots from. So I want you to view these screenshots. So from there you're going to understand that it's very good and a standard practice to first of all have a detailed layout of whatever you want for each screen, So let's first of all remove this. So these are our so this is our layout of the onboarding. So it's laid out mostly. When you look at the texts that are on this screen, it is not just the texts, but it is information that is really preparing our users for what we are working on, which is mostly our app to enable them store various items. So when you look at most of these screens, we are building them out to ask various questions and prepare the user for what they are going to use, and to understand the essence of why they are joining the app, the essence, which becomes easy. When you don't prepare the users, it becomes quite difficult for you to get them to use the app, which is quite disturbing when you build out something that users have not understood. So it becomes difficult for them to make in-app purchases for your app and be able to use it effectively. So the process of the onboarding, for it being long, it is to prepare users for the functionalities that you've set out for the app. But basically, these are the screens that we have in our app. We've already exported them and stored them, so that's why we had to reference that folder that we already have.
Reject the fake, the shiny, the new. Analyze the pattern of the street fight. Analyze the pattern of the street fight. Black ink bleeding on the page tonight. No soft edges, only jagged lines. Building a temple in the ruins of time. They sell out for $1 in a name. I remain solid, immune to the.
So it's creating these screens. The process is quite lengthy, given that we have a very lengthy onboarding of so we are waiting for the process to complete, and then from there we are going to review each and everything that has been built out. These screens. So what it did, first of all, it worked on the translation logic that was supposed to be set up, and then it's systematically setting out these screens the way we want them, and then from there we shall review what it has done and get to see how it has implemented each and every screen. When you prepare yourself with content about your app, what does it do, how do you want the screens to be laid out, when you have a prior preparation before you jump into the building phase, it becomes quite easy. It's very rudimentary and not ethical to just come on the IDE and you say, I want to build this and this app, when you don't have prior reference of what you want to build. But when you have that, then the agent is going to understand and work with whatever you have in terms of the instructions. So if you have detailed each and everything, then it's going to understand it and then it's going to implement it. Remember, these agentic IDEs are much more better than what we used to use when we used VS Code. VS Code was quite good, but again, you had to do all the things manually. So imagine you, first of all, writing out the code for the translations earlier, and then going screen by screen and writing out its code. So it could take quite a lengthy time to work on a certain app and to put it out there for the app to function very well. So the process became easier because when you have agentic tools like the one that we are using, then the process becomes easy. It understands the context of what you want to build, and then it goes on to structure it in a much more better way. If you have a prior template like this React Native template that I built still using this very agentic IDE, then that process is even much more easier. So that is why I built it, so that we keep on updating this boilerplate that is in a separate file, so that for the subsequent projects that we are working on, we don't go back to where we started from. We just use that and start out. It becomes easy for you to go through the process, and the process becomes quite motivating to even the people who are following up. So it's finishing up with these screens, and we are going to review this. So I believe with this app, given that the complexities of it are not so much, I believe we shall be able to work on it in a very short period of time. The first app that we were working with, we spent so much time because there were so many things to consider. But for this, given that we've laid out each and everything and each and every screen that we want, it becomes quite easy. Also, for our app, we don't have any AI related logic, so it makes it quite easy. When there is AI related logic, sometimes you are setting out logic and it is not working the way you want it, which makes the process quite complex. But with this, each and everything is laid out very well. So I wanted to start with the onboarding screens because I wanted to follow up with what is already laid out. The onboarding screens are very essential because they are the first screens that your user is going to see when you're building out an app. So it's like what people get to see outside your house. So the onboarding screens are like the finishing that someone does on each and every house. So people first get to see what is outside the house before they come in. So the first impression that the house makes to them when they're outside can really corrupt them to either have interest to enter that house or lose interest to enter the house. So it is just like what you put outside when you are setting out, when you're building a house. It's just like what you wear on the outside, what you're wearing on the inside. For someone maybe to get interested in someone, they get to see what they are wearing or how they are looking. So the onboarding process is just like that. It is very essential for each app because it preps the user to understand the value proposition for your app and to make an informed decision whether they are going to use your app, because by the time they go through the onboarding process, they have already downloaded the app. So it shows prior interest, but further you go on to cement the interest with what they get to see, and that is very, very important. So that is what we are working with to ensure that the onboarding screens and the process is set out very well, and then we can be able to review it. For people who have not subscribed yet, I'm going to call upon you, please don't miss out on following up on this process. We are building out different mobile apps and web apps to ensure that we hit the figure of $500,000. So if you want to follow this journey to where it is going to get, because I believe it's going to be even much more amazing, I believe we shall hit those figures and we shall surpass them. And this journey, I believe it is not a journey that I'm just going to go through as a person, but I'm going to go through it with a whole team of people who are subscribing and people who are following up this particular process. So if you want to follow up, if you are looking to maybe learn throughout the process, because I believe the learning itself, which is in the process, is much more important. Actually, it's as important as the products that we can produce, and as important as the goal, which is the main product of creating apps that people love and hitting the revenue of $500,000. I believe the process is important. So if you also want to learn throughout the process, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe and ensure that each and everything is set out very, very well. So you're waiting for Cloud. Cloud is building out these different screens, because remember, we had screens that were mostly for signing up and then accessing the different tabs that we have for our boilerplate. So we are adding the onboarding process for our app, and we are adding that with the use of Cloud Opus 4.6, which is quite a very good and powerful tool. So we are waiting for it to accomplish the process, and then after the accomplishment of the process, we are going to review that effectively well. So let's wait for it to finish up. It has completed the process, and it has given us the walkthrough. So these are our screens. So let's accept this, but rather when we look at our app, we are not able to view it very well because we are getting this error. So let's request. So what we are getting in terms of the error, it is the above terminal errors that have shown. Currently our app is showing a different route. We are supposed to view the first screen in the onboarding process when this app opens up. So how can we fix this to ensure that the route of our app is structured for us to view the first onboarding screen when the app opens, so that we can be able to follow along and view all other screens that you've set out.
The mathematics of the sap rising in the trunk, drowning out the junk in the rhythmic funk. My foundation is a sovereign state of mind, leaving every bitter winner far behind. It's the climb through the grime to the light. Keep reaching. Every branch is a prayer for the height. Steady now. Weathering the season till the fruit is ripe. Manifest the essence in the middle of the fight.
So let's stop this. So let's go back to this and refine this as a senior engineer. I want you to look at our route and ensure that when our app opens, we first access the onboarding screen, but starting from the first onboarding screen, which is the welcome screen, and then from there you can be able to test out all the functionalities and the screens that you've set up. So let's continue. So the screens are already set up. So when you look at our code, these are our screens for the onboarding. There are quite many. They are up to 24 screens, but they have already been set up. So that means when it comes to the complexity of building out things, Cloud Code Opus 4.6 is quite powerful. It has effectively built out the complex layout for the screens and set them out very well. So it's making refinements to the layout. So let's look at this app. It's reloading. So this is what we have in terms of the screens. I want us to look at these. I think it's still making generations. We are going to wait for it to finish up. So let's wait for it to finish up. And if you are not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe. Subscribe, because I believe throughout the process we are going to learn lots and lots of things. It's an amazing thing for you to subscribe, because when you subscribe, you support us effectively. Well, so it has finished. So these are our screens that we have. So users can be able to go through these elements very well. But I think it's good for us to first of all go back to this screen is here. So this is quite good. So I want to look at these screens. I want to look at them. So let's go back. I want to look at how they are laid out, one screen at a time. So when you look at what we had in terms of the screenshots and what was executed, then you can really testify that Cloud Opus is a very good tool. So let's go to the next screen. So let's look at these ones and get to review them. So this is the third screen. So these are the screens for the questions. So some of the screens it made some refinements in terms of the look, but at least that they are not that much. It's just a few screens where you can just make little modifications, but I believe it nailed what we wanted. So this is the 7th. Let's go to screen number 7.
Mantén esa energía justo ahí. La cima nos espera. Vamos. Vamos. Siente el impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes, el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que temer.
So then it starts from here. So it build out
El camino fue duro, pero aquí estamos. Visión clara, lo que tanto buscamos. Me gusta cómo vibra esta realidad. Mirando al frente con seguridad. Buscando la gloria que el mundo envidie. Mis pasos.
it goes on. What I'm trying to do is I'm looking at the real app and I'm trying to confirm the screens that were built out.
Lo logré, sí, lo logré ya. Siente el impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes, el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que temer. Siente el impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes, el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que temer. Abajo todo es solo un punto pequeño. Dueños del triunfo, dueños del empeño. Se ve tan claro bajo el cielo azul. Todo es victoria con fuerza y virtud. Olvida los miedos, quedaron atrás. Mi fe es roca, mi aliento es victoria.
So let's continue.
Entrando en la historia.
Screen number 11.
Nuestra la historia, más alto que el sol, ganando el lugar, no me detendré, aquí somos libres.
So I think there are just a few screens that you can refine in terms of the UI, but most of them were laid out very well, the way we wanted them.
Arde nuestro ser, subiendo fuerte, nada que temer. Siente el impulso de llegar al final. Bajo las nubes, el éxito es real. El fuego interno arde en nuestro ser. Subiendo fuerte, nada que temer.
So
Mismo.
let's continue this.
Yeah. Know the way. Feel the roots.
So it laid out most of the elements the way we wanted them.
Found my face in the ledger. Just a number the page, just a number. Blood soaked in the dirt.
Some elements are
Fruit from the struggle. I'm floating on the truth. Reality starts to shift. It's shifted. The archives keep me numb. The past is a heavy coat.
some of the elements are laid out just perfectly the way we wanted them.
Walking through the dark. Knowledge is the only weapon. They can't lock the mind.
So let's go to
If they cage the body. Stay free. Roots deep in the mud. Branches touching the sky.
other screens.
Know yourself, feel the way. Knowledge is the way out. Way out. Armor made of history, shielding from the storm. Ancestors in the smoke, watching while I climb. Let's go.
So these cards are quite beautiful. The way it has
Now the drums hit
created it,
syncopated
cards are
like
quite beautiful.
Read a book, bought a vest. Spirit tough as iron, spirit tough as iron. Teaching the block to breathe. Resilience in the DA need. In the code. No more running from it. Facing every single ghost. Success is a lonely hill. But I brought the whole tribe. Education is the fire. Burn the lies away. Simple truth, heavy bass. Keep the movement steady. Never forget the source. Roots deep in the mud. Branches touching the sky. Know yourself, feel the way. Knowledge is the way out. Way out. Armor made of history, shielding from the storm. Ancestors in the smoke, watching while I climb. They watching, know the code. Deep roots, don't forget. Don't forget.
So I'm trying to follow along with what it has done.
Sonido de estática de vinilo y un bombo pesado. Sí, es el momento. Yeah. Desde el asfalto hasta la cima. Nací entre bloques de cemento gris. Masticando el polvo helado.
So this we are finishing up with the review of these screens.
No pedí permiso para entrar al juego. Cada tropiezo fue una lección de fuego. Cada tropiezo fue una lección de fuerza. Caminando sobre el vidrio roto del barrio. Sin monedas pero con el hambre intacta. Miraba hacia arriba buscando el sol. Mientras mis botas se hundían en barro. Como cimiento construyendo mi imperio sobre suelo inestable. La calle no perdona al que duda. Aquí la habilidad se paga con silencio. Recelo con encia un feo. Aquí la habilidad se paga con silencio.
So the layout is quite great.
Subiendo la escalera hecha de cicatrices, del suelo al cielo sin mirar atrás, haciendo que el dolor trabaje para mí. Hoy domino lo que ayer me golpeaba. Mi disciplina es un arma cargada, entrenando el que no llega armada. No sabe la tira osteo. No dependo de la suerte ni el azar. Esto es matemática pura y sudor frío. Hoy domino lo que ayer me puedo